Okay, if you like this video, please support my channel, subscribe today. I'd really appreciate the help on that. But let's talk about The Mandalorian Chapter 4. I just finished watching it, and I once again, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as action-packed as Chapter 3. Chapter 3, which was directed by Deborah Chow, felt more like the John Wick episode. This episode was a little bit more tame, but almost had a monster of the week kind of feel to it. Dallas Bryce Howard directed the episode, which is absolutely fantastic. I think she did a great job. It was written by Jon Favreau, who once again could write in strong female characters into the storyline and have you just completely buy into it. Gina Carano did a great job as a shock trooper, and then there was the one character from the village that fell in love with the Mandalorian. What I mean by monster of the week is, first of all, the spoilers. There's a AT-AT or an ATST, which is the small two-legged transport assault vehicle from the Empire that was first featured in The Empire Strikes Back in like a one little tiny clip, but then it became a big part of Return of the Jedi and all of the films and television series since, variations on the ATST. And so this had a monster movie of the week. The Mandalorian, they go to this planet, and then these villagers, it's almost like High Plains Drifter, again sticking with those Western motifs that the High Plains Drifter has to come and train the villagers to take back their land from this savage group of people, which is basically kind of what happened here. So you had these berserker type clan creatures that were just decimating this village, and they were just peaceful fishermen, krill fishers, the shrimp, these like blue space age shrimp we've never seen before, which is kind of neat. And if you like shrimp, you'll like this episode of The Mandalorian. And so, the Mandalorian, of course, gets guilty and, gets suckered in because they didn't have a lot of money. It almost felt like the Three Amigos too, which again, borrowed from the West, with Martin Short and anyway, it was like the Three Amigos, where El Guapo was terrorizing the village, and the town folk put together the little bit of money that they had, which really wasn't much to like smugglers or even like to the Three Amigos or to the Mandalorian. So it was more like he got suckered into feeling like he was doing a favor for somebody. Anyway, but not without a price, because he wanted a place to hide. So they run into Gina Carrera at like a bar, and then she, has a fight thinking he has a bounty on her, and then they realize they don't, with the classic, after they're fighting, and then they put the guns to each other's heads like this, but they don't fire, very much like in The Matrix with Neo and Agent Smith, in the subway scene. And then, they look over and they see the clone Yoda. I'm not going to call it Baby Yoda from now on. It's Clone Yoda. People need to get with the idea that that's coming down the pipe. And then they become friends, and she helps him with her experience, her military training and all, as a shock trooper, to get the villagers trained up. They're learning how to fight with sticks, learning how to fight with blasters, and so on and so on. And so the ATST that is being run by like this berserker clan, I didn't catch the name of it, but I don't think they even mentioned it, is trudging through the woods, snapping branches, and you don't really know what it is until they see the tracks. But, it kind of feels like Jurassic Park with the Tyrannosaurus going through the brush and through the trees, snapping branches. And then when you see it, they gave it a little bit of character. It wasn't like it was just like, oh, you see these guys driving it on the inside. The internal cabin lit up in red, in almost like attack mode, which gave it like these red eyes. And you almost felt like it was a Jurassic Park type creature, which I thought was great. And again, like every one of these episodes are unique. They're being directed by different directors. And like I said, Dallas Bryce Howard did a great job. And just like the Ewoks battle on Endor, the villagers prevailed and destroyed the threat and the Mandalorian is forced to kind of move on. One of the things that I thought was interesting is we're in chapter 4, and the Mandalorian still has not removed his helmet. Thank God. He actually removed it for a second, but they never panned up and showed his face, and it was only to eat some food. They go into a little bit more detail about why, once you commit to wearing the helmet, and he said in the episode, just like the children playing on the farm, that much like them, he started wearing the helmet at that early age, and he's with that clan, and they adopted him, so he wasn't really of Mandalore. So we're learning a little bit more about who he is, which is really cool, which is why maybe the other Mandalorians didn't accept him and almost wanted to have a knockdown drag out with him, because he is not really one of them. But neither was Boba Fett and Jango Fett. We find out, where Jango was someone who stole armor and posed as a Mandalorian. And so anyway, make a long story short, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit lighter than the other episodes. The action sequences were still great. The monster of the week feel was really great. And I'll have to say that the clone Yoda thing, it's great and it's cute and all the little cute scenes and everything, but we're halfway through this thing and we need more story. We need to really start explaining what's going on with the clone Yoda. Because, like I said in that earlier episode, the Patch, the Camino doctor, obviously they cloned him back during the Clone Wars. And if he's 50 years old, like they keep saying, does a 50-year-old, even in Yoda years, if Yoda was 900 years old, is a 50-year-old still not talking? And that's the thing. I think there's still a bait and switch there where he's playing baby, but he may not necessarily be baby. He might know how to speak and articulate, and he's just trying to play his cards close to the vest, this clone Yoda. And but we've got to move this story on because, it's all nice to have all these shots of the clone Yoda baby and everybody. Oh, and now the merchandise is going to start flowing for the holidays and everybody's going nuts. I have a friend of mine who's a brilliant tattoo artist. He actually just did a baby Yoda tattoo on somebody, and it was fantastic and beautiful. His name is Sean Beck. He's an amazing artist. And he also does comic book stuff as well. But my point is, I feel like we're getting overkill here without any explanation. We've got to move. We still haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito and his Death Troopers. Things need to start moving to find out what the mystery is behind the clone Yoda. But I'm really excited. I think, again, fantastic job, fantastic directors. What can you say? The Mandalorian is just huge. It's an amazing thing and an amazing gift. And Jon Favreau is just knocking this thing out of the park. And the concept artwork at the end during the credit roll, again, I keep that coming because that is just beautiful. And what did you guys think of chapter 4 of The Mandalorian? Let's talk about it in the comments section. And we'll see you on the next one. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I could really use the support. Hit that little bell too so that you know when a new video drops. We'll see you on the next one.